Hey man.
Hey man.
Hey man.
Hey man. Hey everybody, and welcome to Hey Man. I'm Josh. Listen, for those of you who have been pretty tired. For those of you who have been keeping up with me and Jacob on social media, you know that Jacob checked himself into a drug rehab facility. And so I'm just going to play the video he made for social medias. Social medias. I put an S on it, like I was born in an Asian country. You know, they throw the S on the end of a word. You have the social medias. But here is his video, everybody.
Hey everybody. It's your boy here. I just wanted to make this video real quick to let everybody know I'm gonna be AFK for a little bit. I'll be spending a couple months or however long I need in a sober living home to just kind of get my life together, get my stuff together. Not truthfully happy with decisions I've made, the things I've been getting into. So thank you to my parents who, helped me make this executive decision to bring me somewhere where I can figure out, what I'm doing and get myself back on track and all that other stuff. So I want to say thank you to everybody. Sorry, it's a hard video for me. Thank you to everybody. Everyone who's been with me, who's still with me, and who will be with me when I'm outside of this. I love every single one of you. For those who support me and my dad and what we do, I'm sorry I'll be missing you guys for the rest of the year, but I will be back better than ever. I promise you that. And I can't wait to see you guys on the road again. I can't wait to get back and doing stand up. To my friends, to my family, I love you guys very much. This is just what needed to happen for me, to clean up my life and to clean up just decisions that were not good for me in the short term and the long run at any point in time. So I love you guys all so much. Thank you. I know I'll find a lot of continued support when I get through it. And I just wanted to make this because I'll be AFK for a little bit. So thank you. I love every single one of you. There are specific ones of you who you'll know who you are when you see it. I love every single one of you. I will be back. It's just going to take me a second. So I love you guys. I'll see you all soon. Thank you for everything. I'll see you on the other side.
All right, guys. So there was that. Let me kind of get into, I'm not going to tell Jacob's story. If you know anything about me, I know a lot of really good stories about people, but they're not my stories to tell. And so I'm not going to tell Jacob's story. I'm not going to tell what he's in there for. I'm not going to tell any of our communication stuff. I can only talk to you about how I feel. And today is also an interesting day. I think today's maybe the first day that it's really kind of hit me. I'm an emotional kind of wreck today. I can feel it just right at skin level. And I felt that all day. Leading up to what went down with Jacob, I had on my way to Reno last week, right before I was getting on the plane to go, I got a phone call from my brother that my dad had collapsed on the golf course. Called my mom, who was in hysterics, on the way to the hospital. He is okay, but he collapsed with a blood pressure of 40/26. And was unresponsive for about 45 minutes. And so I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing things. Always kind of have been. And so did the show in Reno that night. But I tucked that one pretty deep. And then, probably 2 days later, we had to check Jacob in, and just let me, first of all, I'm super proud of him. That video that he posted was like so inspirational to me and brave. I told him, I go, dude, you don't have to, your mom and I can make a story for whatever you want until you get out. And then you can figure out how you want to approach it. And he was like, no, I just want to tell everybody what's happening. Which I thought was very brave. It was a very, I thought it was, he was holding himself accountable. It felt like, it was a brutal, day. Watching him walk in there, even though it's the best thing for him, and that we're saving his life. We're saving his life. That it's, that's still, that's still at the end of the day, no matter how old your kids get, that's still my baby. That's still my baby. And I struggle talking about this for a couple of reasons. This isn't about me. This really isn't about me or my feelings or any of that. It's the 100% focus is how he is doing and, his life. But it's just me here right now talking to you guys. So we're going to get some of my stuff. I had to take, first of all, I am going to go sober. I can't in good conscience be out here doing high lives or taking mushrooms and going to shows with my son struggling with addiction. So that is one thing. And look, man, it's got nothing to do with whether I feel like I have a problem or not. I actually don't feel like that. But that is not, some people are like, well, why do you got to stop? He has to learn to live around people. Yeah, dude, but nah. There is, a ton of guilt associated with it. I heard a lot of people, a lot of people would reach out to my friends and family and be like, he's going to be great. You guys, you're a great dad. And it's maybe the first time in my adult life that somebody said that to me where I winced a little bit, because it sure doesn't, you start to look at yourself and how did I, play a role in this? And you speak to every addict and they're like, yeah, dude, this has got nothing to do with you. And the truth of the matter is, I am a dude who has outwardly smoked weed and taken mushrooms, and I was like, how can that not play a role? And the truth of the matter is, as it was pointed out to me, my dad and mom didn't do drugs at all, but here I am. Right? If your kid picks up everything you do, more than drugs, what I've preached to or glorified maybe more than anything in my house is exercise and eating well. And he sure as fuck didn't pick those up, So there's still a heavy level of guilt in how I didn't see it. And that is every time that enters my brain, what it's overcome by is just who gives a fuck. It's not about me. I just want him to be okay. And I don't know, honestly, like when he comes out, I have no doubt that he's gonna crush it. In the meantime, I think I'm probably gonna have to go to some Al-Anon meetings or hit some therapy because this has fucked me up a little bit. I think anybody who's dealt with this with their kids, it probably goes through the same exact thing, which is why I think Al-Anon is going to be the place for me. And one of the things that I really yesterday latched onto, because, I knew would you expect them to turn out like, look at you, comments were coming. And I knew that they were really going to hit me hard because I was already feeling a certain level of guilt. But what I really decided was what you all think about me as a parent doesn't matter. It's what my kids think about me as a parent. And that's not an offense to you guys, but whether you think I'm a good parent or a bad parent, doesn't matter as long as I have a good relationship with my kids, which I do, and as long as they think that I've always been there for them, which I have, that I would drop everything at the snap of a finger for them, which I have, that I've always support them with anything they've ever wanted to do, which I have, and which that I've been there for them emotionally and physically and financially and whatever, which I have. Lots of changes coming. But one thing's for sure, while, I'm definitely going to get sober, but while Jacob's in there, I'm fucking going hard in the paint. You know what I mean? I'm going to quit when he gets out, but I might as well take a couple brain cells with me on the way out. Definitely no more public consumption or anything like that. I'm going to get high. I'll get high in my backyard. But never again with him, in front of him. It won't be part of my shows. I won't be doing a high live. I won't be doing the mushroom shows. It's just, he and I are going to focus on health and positivity, and how I think he's going to end up helping a lot of people with his honesty and his openness, and his age, and the fact that he was super willing to go. I know all of this seems a little vague. There's just not a lot of detail I want to give without him here. I will say this unequivocally. Thank you all so much for the support and the love. Overwhelming at times. For real. Super cool to know that we have cultivated that type of relationship with you all. And it really does, at this point, feel like a giant family, and we truly appreciate it. I'm sure he's going to get his phone back soon, and we'll be able to reach out and make his own other statement or comment. So funny, the last thing he said on the way in was, "Hey, I can still do stand-up, right? They're going to let me go out and do stand-up, right?" And I was like, no, dude. You don't get to just, So I might do some guests, but they'll be guests who make sense in a family way. Joe Diaz, Ryan Sickler. It's not going to be just random people. It'll be people with a purpose. I might have some friends on who are sober who can kind of talk to me about what Jacob's going to be going through and what the, obstacle course he'll be running when he gets out, So if I do have people on, it'll be people who make sense to this podcast and to, that fit into this family, frankly. And I'm going to have to figure out how to kind of refocus the podcast while he's gone. And I think I've, between Matt and I, we have, I think, figured out a loose format that I think will be fun and still fit what Jakey and I did. And, that seat will be there when he comes back, But I don't think I would turn it into a straight interview podcast, but there might be some people that make sense. And then as far as the road goes, he we'll be back when he can come back, you know? And that'll be it. That'll be it. That'll be it. I mean, I don't know why I got to quit all my fun just because he does. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that'll be it for now, guys. I have definitely, this has definitely aged me a few years. I have definitely cut back on sustenance. Haven't been in the gym. Just kind of got to get my shit together here. It's just one of those times in your life, everybody, and we've all had them, by the way, where it feels like all the bad things are happening at one time. And I feel like greatness is on the other side of that. So thank you for being here and sticking with me and sticking with the family and sticking with Jacob. And he's a good dude with a great heart. But I had seen him sinking. Listen, for the amount of times that I talked to him about going to therapy on this podcast, imagine how much I talked to him outside of the podcast. Like, dude, what is going on with you? What is going on? You could feel it. I could see it. And we've also talked about no matter how close you are to your kids, I think we've talked about it on the show. Jacob and I have definitely talked about it. No matter how close you are to your kids, and I know there are parents who are like, my kids tell me everything. We talk about everything. Nope. Think about even if you were close to your parents, did you tell them everything? You don't fucking tell your parents everything. You don't tell anybody everything. That's it. There are parts of yourself that you hide from everybody, even yourself. So I had definitely seen him struggling. But I just didn't know to what extent it was happening. So it's at the same time heartbreaking. I'm so grateful to have caught it when we did, before he died, before somebody else died, before somebody breaks the law, something from my house goes missing, any of that shit that drug addicts do. Super grateful that we caught it early. Super grateful that when Beth and I were like, hey, dude, I bought us tickets. We're hopping on a plane. This is where we're going. He said, okay. Like, he was tired. He was tired of it too, which I'm super grateful for. So that's all. That's the only way I can look at it right now. And I'm incredibly hopeful for him and can't wait to see what's on the other side. And I think that's probably. All right, man. I thought we'd get to some emails. And by the way, everybody, I see your emails here about tickets to the show. Remember that I have offered up, if you or your family are going through some hard times and you would like to reconnect with somebody in your family, or you and your husband or you and your wife need a night out and you just can't afford it right now, or you're a single parent and you just can't afford it right now, man, I would love to be able to give the gift of laughter to you. So make sure you email me at heymanpod. That's heyman with 3 A's, heymanpod@gmail.com. Can't do them all. I can do probably 10 tickets a weekend. But if you reach out, I am super honored and grateful and to be able to give you these things. Also, if you do email me at heymanpod and I read your email on the podcast, you will get 2 free tickets to a show. So those emails will be any advice or questions you have. Happy to answer. If I read your question on the pod, you will get 2 free tickets to the show. And so, guys, the first one. This is the first giveaway email. You ready for this? This is from Mandy Lynn. Hey, Josh and Jacob. I've been dating a man for 3-ish years, and he has a young son around 10. Dude, why am I reading this like Casey Kasem would read his? For those of you who don't know who Casey Kasem is, fuck you. You're super young.
He's the voice of Shaggy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he was. Okay. I've been dating a man for 3-ish years and he has a young son around age 10. How did you integrate Beth into your family dynamic? And do you have any tips for helping him acclimate and feel comfortable with me and his family? Much love to you and Beth. Thank you for the levity. Mandy. Okay, Mandy. First of all, for me, Beth and I decided we had to make sure that we were good. I was like, oh, this is a long-term relationship. And it does sound like this is 3 years, feels like a long-term relationship. But we waited a long time before I introduced her to the kids because we wanted to make sure we were good with each other. So that is how we integrated her. And we did it very slowly, man. We did it very slowly. And we did it so slowly. In fact, I think you've heard the story, but the way my daughter was introduced to her is because I'd never let Beth spend the night because I didn't want the kids to wake up and just see a weird woman in the house. So she would come over to the house, we would have sex, and then she would go home. It was actually a pretty sweet setup. As a matter of fact, it's a setup that I lobbied for many years, but she was like, what about marriage? I'm like, what about we keep having sex and you keep going home? Is there an in-between on that? But Beth, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. But you know, the way my daughter met her man is that, so Beth ended up sleeping in my closet one night because she was too tired to go home. And then the closet just ended up, she would be like, I'll sleep in the closet until the kids. So she would get out of the bed at around 5 a.m. and go late. And it was a walk-in closet, everybody. And I made it real nice. I put a little air mattress in there. I had a little, like a side table so she could put an alarm clock, you know, mini fridge was coming. It was legit. It was like a real New York apartment, you know? And so one morning she's in there and my daughter was in the kitchen and I always let my kids pick out their clothes. And part of it was I thought it was good for them to have ownership. And part of it because kids are terrible at picking out their own clothes and they look dumb as fuck. And I thought it was funny. Like Kate would go to school and like, you know, pants, but socks pulled up over the pants and a scarf and like a weird hat and 8 shirts. But it was what she wanted to wear. And honestly, I was single at the time and I didn't have the bandwidth to make breakfast, make lunch, get everybody ready and pick out clothes and do it. No. You pick out your own clothes. So I'm making breakfast one morning and as usual, we're running late. And Caitlin comes in and she says, hey, I can't find my shoes. And I said, I don't know where your shoes are. She said, will you help me look? And I said, babe, you know what? I'm making breakfast. I'm making lunch. If you can't find those shoes, just go pick out another set of shoes. But we got to get out of here in like 15 minutes. She said, but I looked everywhere. I said, you didn't look everywhere. Go look everywhere. So she came back a couple minutes later and she said, I still can't find my shoes, Daddy. And there's a stranger sleeping in your closet. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, there's a stranger sleeping in your closet. And I said, Kate, I'll help you find your shoes, but I'm so curious. There's a stranger in my closet. You seem pretty calm. That's the only reaction I get. And she looked at me and she goes, it's your closet, Daddy. None of my business what happens in your closet. And she walked out of the kitchen. And I was like, I'm going to bury a body with this girl. She was like, there was no doubt. I was like, oh, she's the one. Out of the 3 kids, like if I had to bury a secret, she's going to the grave with it. But the way I integrated her was, and it was difficult, man. The kids were tough on her. They were tough. But I did it very slowly. And I didn't want them thinking that anyone was replacing their mom or that they in any way, shape, or form, like my relationship with them was going to change. So it was important that Beth get integrated in, but in a way that didn't upset their schedule, that didn't make them feel like who's this bitch? Do you know what I mean? She's coming in and now we eat dinner, you know, outside on the patio. We don't eat whatever. That's not what it was, but you know? So I made sure that their schedule, our life stayed the same. And I wanted to show them, and Beth did too, by the way, how she would fit into that. I don't know what the situation is with his ex. That is a huge thing. You know, my ex at the time was out. When I mean out of the picture, she wasn't even in state. So I didn't have to do that dance, which is different. I wasn't splitting time with my ex. The kids were with me. So that was honestly made it easier. It really did, because I didn't have to mitigate somebody else's emotions. I had no idea. I didn't have to wonder what was being said over at somebody else's house. All that stuff was important, you know? But I would do it in a way that makes the kids know that you are additive. You're not taking away. You're not changing their life. Not yet, dude. Eventually you will. Not change their life, but eventually you will. Things will change because you're a grown human. But if you're not living there yet, if you're still just dating, then you just have to fit in where you fit in into their schedule and their life. One man's opinion. But Mandy, thank you so much. Let's do another one, guys. A parenting question for the podcast. Hello, Josh and Jacob. This is from Brandon. Appreciate all the laughs and can't wait for you guys to come back to Dallas. Parenting question. I have a 4-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. Josh, I'm curious if you changed your parenting style when it came to your sons versus your daughter, or is it just easier to do everything the same to keep them equal and fair? My kids are still on the younger side right now, but something I've been thinking about as they get older. All the best, Brandon. Brandon, great question, dude. Again, one man's opinion. I did not change my parenting style because of their sex. I changed my parenting style because every kid is different. And you can't parent all of your kids the same way because they're different people. And some styles work. This is, again, one man's opinion. Some styles work differently for some kids than for others. Jacob Wolf, all I had to do was raise my voice or let him know that I was disappointed. That was enough. That was enough, man. He didn't need a heavy punishment. He didn't need, or maybe he did looking back on it. He didn't need any of that stuff to affect him. He needed to feel like they are disappointed or they're not approving of the way that I'm acting. And again, just raise your voice a little bit. And that dude was like, yeah, that's enough for me. I'm ready to step in line. My daughter didn't, quite frankly, give a fuck. She'd be like, oh, you're just going to yell at me? Cool. Ready to go. It was tough as straight up nails, man. So you got to parent somebody like that different. Dude, if yelling doesn't work, stop yelling. Stop yelling. If raising your voice doesn't work, stop raising your voice. Something's going to work. But you know what I mean? Something's going to work. Whether it's taking things from them, grounding them. I'm not on board for laying hands, and I'm not on board for fear. I don't think dude, man, if you think of somebody you're scared of, honestly, your kid might stay in line. It also you just might be making sneakier kids. But what you're definitely not doing is cultivating a relationship with them. Yo, you're not close to anybody you're scared of, not close in a way that you'd like to be. You know what I mean? And so I just don't think ruling by fear is the way to go. One man's opinion. There's something that's going to work. There is something that's going to work. You just have to find it. That's all. And I don't think the laying hands, for me, again, dude, you all can, I have friends of mine who got hit when they were kids and they were like, was the best thing for me. Was it the best thing? But that's their experience, man. I can just tell you for me, it's got nothing to do with boys and girls. It's got to do with that your kid's just different. I parent my oldest son different than my youngest son. They're different people and they had different life experiences. And so some of it needs a heavier hand and some of it needs a lighter hand. And that's what it is for me. And look, there are some differences, because when you raise a daughter who's dating boys, and she also did date some girls, but when you're raising a daughter who dates boys, you know what teenage boys are like, and 20-something boys. They're just basically walking penises. And I've said this before, but when you're 15 or 16 and you're talking to a girl, all that's going through your head is how I wonder if I could get her to maybe touch my dick. That's it. If you're like, hey, can I help you with your homework? The subtext of that is, if I help you with your homework, is there a chance that you'll touch my dick? And so I know that. And every dad knows that. And here's the thing, like, that's why I was never a teenage girl. So, you know, when you talk to women, they're like, yeah, we navigate, you know what I mean? There's no reason to be more strict or to be more careful. But as a dude, I know the deviant brain of a 16-year-old boy. Are you fucking, they're dumb and they are driven with testosterone. This is a recipe for fucking disaster. So, of course, we're more careful. And because we know, what we don't know is how smart teenage girls are, except when they get around teenage boys, then they tend to get a little stupider. Look, anybody who falls for just the tip isn't the smartest person in the world. You know what I mean? If you're falling for just the tip, I can't trust you entirely. Right? So that's the point, really. I guess maybe when they got older, I had more. Did I have more rules? I did not have more rules, but I definitely, like, if Jacob or my oldest son, Trevor, were dating somebody, they would go pick them up. But if Caitlin was dating somebody, I was like, have that dude come over here. I need to fucking meet that guy. You know what I mean? And I never was like, if you go pick her up, you better bring her back here so I can meet her. That wasn't a thing. But I wanted that dude to look me in the eye so I could be like, hey, man, you don't think I know that touch my dick is in effect right now? Like, a straight up, dude. I just needed him to know, I know that touch my dick is happening. Yo, dude. I remember having a conversation with some guy. My daughter was 18, and this would 100% double standard. No, actually not. I wouldn't have let it either way. But she was 18, and there was this 21-year-old dude. She was in high school at 18. There was a 21-year-old dude who was trying to date her. And I was like, fuck no. 0% chance. And people kept coming at me, like, she's 18, she's a grown-up. No, she's in high school. If you're in high school, my big thing was, if at 21, I don't care how old the girl is. At 21, 0% chance I would have been dating somebody in high school. To go pick somebody up in high school says a lot to me about who the fuck you are. My opinion, right? So I went pretty heavy-handed on that. I was like, don't let me see that fucking dude. And we made the message very clear to both of them. If I see this dude at the high school, there's going to be some real fucking problems. If I find out you're dating him before you graduate high school, there's going to be some real problems. Something about that struck a nerve with me, that why are you 21 and combing the high schools for dates? In my mind, that person didn't care whether she was 18 or 17 or 16. You're still going into the high school. He wasn't like, wait a second, how old are you? You're in high school? Okay. Nah. So there was that. And I can't say honestly, I wouldn't have let Jacob date some girl who was 21 when he was 17. Although I would not, I'm just being as honest as I can. I would not have been as aggressively angry at the other person. I still would have been like, what is wrong with her? But I wouldn't have wanted to punch a hole in her chest and shit in it, which it was the instinct with this fucking guy. Yeah, I think it, look, I'm not going to apologize for being more protective in that way of my daughter. And also because, guys, look, man, I don't think there's ever going to be some woman, it could be, but I didn't who overpowers one of my sons and makes them do something they don't want to do. And that's always a possibility with my daughter. So definitely more protective in that way. So the first news story of the day is that a couple is accused of trying to sell their 2-month-old baby at a campground for beer and $1,000. First of all, guys, that is real cheap for a white kid. I'm just saying, man, if you look at the adoption stuff, yeah, people are going to other countries. You could probably, for a healthy white child, you could get some good dough. Definitely more than $1,000. What kind of beer are we talking about? Are we doing like, because if you're talking about Natty Light and how much beer, but $1,000 seems real light. But they had exchanged for overnight for a 6-pack of beer. Now I will tell you guys this as I make a couple jokes about this. I think these people should be in jail for a long fucking time. I think that it's about as despicable as you can get. And I think that we should start figuring out who's allowed to have children and who isn't. If you can drive a car and you need a license for that and a license for other shit, this feels like, but look, man, it was a disgusting thing. That being said, how much would I sell my kids for? I mean, it just made me think 1,000 feels real cheap, especially considering how much I've already put into the product. You know what I mean? Like, am I selling them? If I'm selling them at 15, I need some payback. I need reimbursement. I need reimbursement for braces and like things like that, because I've already cleaned up the product a little bit, right? You know, I've done healthcare. I've done all that stuff. So like, there's already been some restoration on the vehicle is what I'm saying. So, and now as a baby, I'm also charging maybe more of a premium because now you get to mold this baby. You don't have to take any of the baggage it comes with. You can give that baby at 15. It's going to be hard to rename them, right? You're basically stuck with the name. A 15-year-old is going to be like, my name's not Kevin. You're like, it is now. You're like, fuck, it's not Kevin. Well, that's what I'm going to call you. So up to you whether you want to answer to it or not. But so at 15, you're dealing with, and then you're going to have to really explain a lot. Like, wait a second, I'm living where now? Right? So it's hard to really sell a 15-year-old. But if I was going to sell a 2-month-old, I think, boy, price tag. Well, I'm looking at least $500,000. $500,000 feels like kind of the ground we're starting at. Guys, obviously, we're just talking about this for fun and content, but it's all hypothetical. But I bet you if you went to every parent in the world right when their kid was born and you walked in, you were like, give you $1 million cash for that right now. 99% of them would be like, get the fuck out of here. Well, 1% would be like, cash? Is this tax-free? Because I could just have another baby tomorrow. Do you know? I mean, I bet you it's more than 1%. I bet, okay, let's talk about that. What percentage of people, and please, I want to hear your responses to this. I want you guys to tell me what you think for the percentages of people, right? Baby right out of the vagina. How much, right? $1 million. What percentage of people are giving away? Matt, what do you think?
I'd say out of all the people having a baby at the same time, probably 5%.
I honestly, are we including the entire world?
Oh, if it's in the entire world, it's much higher.
I agree. I think you're at like 10,
if
10,
you're
15.
at Americans, it's like 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In places where people are incredibly impoverished,
Mm-hmm.
they could help their entire family and just have another baby.
India,
Yeah.
Philippines,
Well, India.
they have enough people.
Yeah. They'd be like, yeah, we're good. We're good. Go ahead. Take that. All right. So I go worldwide 15%. America. Ooh, because there are like drug addicts. These people. I think these people make up a higher percentage of parents than we're hoping they do. I go 10%. $1 million cash right out of the vagina.
Tax-free.
Tax-free, $1 million cash right out of the, I keep saying right out of the vagina, and I don't know why.
Well, there are people who pay for surrogates that spend way more than $1 million.
Yes. That's right. The surrogate people, I mean, I'd be so curious to talk to a surrogate about how difficult that is to not give the child up because it's not their child, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That seems like it could fuck you up. Anyways, that I think, and I don't want to glorify these people, and they're gross, and I hope they went to jail for a long time. But
well, according to the article, they were kind of mistreating the baby.
Oh, you think?
Had a bad ammonia and fecal odor to it.
Matt, you did not have to tell me that they were mistreating the baby they were trying to sell for $1,000 and a 6-pack. Yeah. That feels like implied in the headline. Do you know? And by the way, this seems like something that would happen at a fair, like next to the Ferris wheel or by the cotton candy stand, you know? This doesn't feel like it happened at like...
It happened at a campground.
Yeah, that feels right. That feels right. But by the way, campground, who's got $1,000? I know a lot of people got cash, $1,000 at the campground. Okay. Well, that was terrible and weird. What else you got? Woman charges her boyfriend $50 every time he stays over for a very unexpected reason. Ooh, can I guess what the reason is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I get 5 questions?
Sure.
Okay. Does it have to do with anything sexual?
No.
Okay. Does it have to do with like, you know, almost like you're using my water, my heat, my roof?
Yes.
So it's like a hotel fee.
Yeah, it's like a resort fee. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you get pussy at this resort? Is that part of the fee?
Yeah, it's kind of like your relationship with Beth when she was living in your closet.
Except I would have charged her.
Yeah.
Let's read a little bit about this. Oh, you have saved. I charge my boyfriend $50 every time he comes over for utilities.
Yeah, so basically, like every time he stays at her place, she's charging him like an overnight fee.
Yeah, but she's using the lights anyways.
And this is a TikToker who basically, she's known for her frugal living content.
Yeah.
So it's all about like how she basically saves money and makes money and stuff like that.
So cool. But does she charge just for that, but nothing that happens there? Does she charge food?
I believe she charges basically, it's for everything that he does while he's over there.
Okay. Here's the deal, guys. One, breaking up with her as soon as I get my first $50 bill. I'm going to be like, what? For what? You're using those lights anyways. And by the way, $50 is probably half of her utility bill for one night. So she's making money because say he spends the night 6 nights a month, which seems low. That's $300. Yo, if that's your entire utility bill, I'm assuming. Where can we pull down a little bit to see where she's a budget kind of reason? Keep going before you rush your judgment. Hold off. You find a real reason. No. Keep going. Keep going. Ultimate surprise. A luxury. Hold on. Keep going. Go up a little bit. Oh, a luxury holiday. Oh, wait. She's saving up every single $50 charge to take him on a vacation?
Mm-hmm.
We're back. Wait.
But it's basically a luxury vacation.
That he paid for.
That he's paying for.
Yeah, we're out again. we're out again. We're out again. Because, yeah, we're out. That is a off-handed way to take yourself on a vacation. That's not for him. That's for you. Yeah, dude, we're out. Frugal or not, we're out. And I charge my buddy $50 to come over. It's to cover any expenses like rent, groceries, or bills that I'll have to pay. Yo, but you have to pay those anyways. And when you're in a relationship, this is what, does he make you pay for half of the dinner when you go out? Listen, this would be a pure transactional relationship. I'd be like, cool, let's do this. Let's decide how much sex is worth and who's paying who for it. Because I feel like I'm putting in more work. I put in more work in the sex, so you should be paying me. How about that? Not only that, okay, when we go out for food, I am going to have you pay for half of that. Not only that, but like, what about him having to listen to you talk about your day at work? How much does he get paid for that? How much does he get paid for when he's trying to watch something on TV and you're asking him 9 million questions about a show neither one of you have ever seen before? How much does he get paid for that? How much does he get paid for you complaining about somebody, a coworker, and you're like, why don't you talk to him? Why don't you talk to him? How much does he get paid for that? This is fucking ridiculous. This week he stayed home twice, so I made an extra $100. Nah. This is the whole thing. You're almost there with his money. Why are you saying we're almost there? This is bad. I wonder what the internet thought of it. Are they 50-50 on it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
She's a popular TikToker, so.
Well, yeah, I don't.
Although it says here, some TikTokers weren't exactly feeling the romance.
Yeah, you're surprising with a holiday that he paid for. It's a dick move. And you're couching it like you're the good guy. You are not the good guy. This is not how relationships work. Yeah, dude, that's got to be frustrating for people that she's in a relationship and there are so many people out there like, I'm as nice as I can be. She's charging $50 an overnight visit. How much water is he using? Where he's paying $50 worth of lights and waters?
Here's the guy right here.
Dude, that guy is not, that's the guy?
Apparently. Here.
That is.
Charge my boyfriend $50 to stay.
Nah, she seems unbothered. Of course she is. She's getting a free vacation. Yeah, you should be 100% bothered. You're bothering us. I am out on her. I would like to see what she looks like. I just saw her hands. Maybe I should start seeing if Beth will be into this. Yeah, she just shows her hands. She never shows her face. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Always pocketbooks full of money.
Yeah, but not hers, apparently. I'm out on her. That's it. I'm out. But no, I was never in, but I'm out before I was in. Yeah. I wonder, I'd like to hear from him because he must follow her. So he has to know this is where his money's going now. Right?
Maybe.
Maybe? What do you mean? Doesn't he?
I mean, he might not follow her. He might not be on TikTok, so he might not know.
Nah.
Could be a surprise.
Her name is Stephanie. I kicked out my 12-year-old daughter.
Budget with Millie.
All right. Let me just say this about the special. I'm super proud of it. It's different than anything else you're going to see. And I did it that way on purpose. I wanted it to feel raw. I wanted it shot in a raw way. I wanted it shot unedited. You might notice some framing where you're like, what the fuck? That doesn't look polished. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to feel raw, like you're at the show. This is what the experience was like being at the show. It has some things in there that I was told by many people to take out. And I was like, fuck you, we're leaving it in. So it's something that you haven't seen before. Because of what's been happening, I wasn't able to go out and promote, and I wasn't able to get on podcasts. And so I'm reaching out to us and our family, and that includes you guys. And here's all I'm asking. Go watch the special. Go watch the special. If you can comment and like it, and most importantly, share it, it'll really help the algorithm kick it out to a bunch of people. So that would be amazing, man. I would really appreciate any and all support at this time. And because you know what? I've had a lot of people tell me, well, listen, dude, you haven't been able to promote it, or, you you should push this stuff you left in the video. You should take out. It's a bunch of people telling me what I can't do. There's nothing I like more than telling those people to fuck off. And I told them, I said, I will promote it. I do have, it's you guys. It's us. I know that the people that are on this ride are on it 100%. So I appreciate any and all support, guys. Really, really do. If you go to 4storiescomedy.com, it'll take you right to the special. And like I said, man, it's 4 of my favorite stories of all time. There's some kids involved in it. There's some other stuff involved. But it's like every time I did these 4 stories at a show, it was fucking electric. And so I know you guys are going to love it. If you like storytelling and you know people who like storytelling, do me a favor, share it out there. ComedianJoshWolf.com for tour dates. This weekend, I am in Bozeman on the 10th. I'm in Salt Lake City on the 11th and 12th. I am in Boise on the 13th. For those of you who reached out about tickets, I'm getting back to you. I can't get back to all of you because I can't give tickets to all of you. We are going to give away 10 a weekend. So thank you so much. If you don't hear from me about the ticket, that just means that, I read 10 other people's emails before yours, unfortunately. That's all. And thank you for listening. I feel super disjointed in this podcast. I feel like, I think if you know me, you're always going to get 100% authentic about what's going on with me. And what's going on with me right now is life. And we all go through it, and we all have our ups. We all have our downs. And I'm trying not to think about these as ups or downs. It's just life. So thank you guys so much for your support and for your well wishes for Jakey and for the whole family. And bigger, better, stronger. ComedianJoshWolf.com. Josh Wolf Comedy on all platforms. And thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you next week. Hey, if you like this podcast you just watched, you're going to love the one I'm popping up in your face right now. Check it out.